One more breathing exercise. You know that how much I feel about breathing. We all need to breathe, of course, but with us singing, it's really, really important. I talked about that in the previous video where we did the resistance. So this one's going to be a couple of exercises in one go. Now, you do please be in a room with nobody else with this coronavirus going out when you're doing these breathing exercises, especially this first one. This is the one where you blowing down a tube at the doctors. If you've got asthma like I have, you have to put a tube in your mouth with no resistance, and you blow as hard as you can, and the little scale goes up and tells you how well you're doing. Always goes with a hiss. So you need an open mouth with this, no resistance, and all I'm going to do is count to 4. I'm going to hold your breath and push. And during that push is when you breathe out and you expel all that air as hard as you can. Now, try not to make any of this stuff move here. All it should be is this diaphragm movement, just push. Yeah. Now, we can't really control that diaphragm. It's this core muscle down here in our bellies that's the only one that's attached to the diaphragm. Use that to expel that air. So count to 4, breathe in, hold until I say it, and then I'll give you the push to breathe out. Here we go. I'll do it a couple of times. Make sure there's nobody around you. You don't want to be spitting on anybody, and make sure there's nothing in front of you so you're not expelling droplets onto a surface. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, hold, and open mouths, push. Let's try that again then. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, making sure your shoulders don't move. Hold it and push. Final time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and push. Lovely. Okay, the next one is counting to 30 while singing, and this one is to get you used to these surprise breaths. These little sips of breath, as Sarah put it in the workshop at Songbirds. Now, you might need to take a surprise breath in the middle of this at some point. The point is to try and make the shortest of breaths, just to top up. You can also just flop the diaphragm and let that happen as well. Now, we're going to sing on an E flat. There's an E flat, or for the gentleman down there. We're going to sing the numbers 1 to 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You need to take a big breath at the beginning, but again, don't do this. Now, if James, the young chorister, Aston, if you're listening, James is 12 years old, I think, something like that. 10 years old, actually. A really good young musician. We're very lucky to have a young chorister, Aston Choir, church choir. There's not many boy choristers around, but James, when we always do this exercise, you see him go, when he needs to get a good breath, he goes like that. Okay, and it's always a bit of a laugh. Now, so James, you keep your shoulders down, keep them relaxed. Excuse me, and take in wind in this area here, using that diaphragm. Certainly very difficult as a youngster to do. And we're going to sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way up to 30, taking a sip of breath or a surprise breath if you need. So you might be at, say, 13, 14, 13, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15. Just take that little breath, make it as quiet as you can. I accentuated that so that you could hear it. Make that as quiet as you can. And with choral music, especially church choral music, there's often a lot of syncopated breathing. So one person in the same section will breathe at a different time to another. We had this at Carlton the other week, where Rick Morris was mentioning it in, I think it was in Amazing Grace, actually, keeping that whole phrase going right the way through the whole of Amazing Grace. It sounds like it's in one breath because all choristers are taking a surprise breath at a different time. But onto the exercise. So an E flat, remember you're going to sing as smoothly as you can. I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to count for you. Take a breath then, James, don't lift those shoulders. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. to get on. Interesting piece of music, that one, isn't it? I wrote that one myself. Let's try it one more time. Let's slow it down just a touch this time, so you might need to take a breath at a certain point. As you repeat this exercise, just make a little note as to what number you took the breath on, or the numbers you took it between, and then next time see if you can beat that. Just keep ourselves occupied somehow, haven't we? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take that. Sorry. I'm going to take that a little bit slower, aren't I? So a bit of a slower count. Apologies for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it smooth. Well done. I went off to my desert island in the middle of that, so maybe I got the count wrong, I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, so enjoy that. Remember the sips of breath, or a surprise breath as you might have heard it called, and try and chase that number down. Try and get that a little bit further. Sue, you probably took your breath about 3, did you? Just joking.